Hello, I'm sitting on our new porch. Yeah, that's right. Your new porch and my new porch. It's our new church building. I am most excited about our new space. It's very clean and crisp, and it is smaller, so it's going to be easier for us to manage. Now, we're here at Lincoln and Quincy. So we have a new neighborhood, new neighbors to get to know. Not too long ago, porches were standard fare on houses. Now, a lot of houses here in Inglewood still have porches because we got a lot of older houses here in Inglewood. But even though we have porches here in Inglewood, not many people use their porches. I was driving through today and thinking about that. People just don't use porches. Oftentimes, we're more apt to use patios. Patios are in our backyards. And they're in our backyards, and we have fences, privacy fences at that. It was very interesting this summer as we've been working from home because of the coronavirus. And Chris especially has been working on the back patio. And our neighbors next door, who we know pretty well enough to say hello to and all that kind of stuff. Well, because Chris was sitting outside day in and day out, the neighbors decided to put in a privacy fence. Now, it didn't go all the way down their property. It went just the stretch so that we couldn't see into their yard. I imagine so they couldn't see into our yard, but I think it was mostly so we couldn't see into their yard. They wanted their privacy from us when we were spending all of our time out on our back patio. That's the way we are these days. Back patio, backyard, privacy fence, kind of all into our own worlds. Into our own worlds and kind of isolated from each other. That's the way it is these days. So what would it mean here in our new building for us to have a front porch? For us to have a porch? What would it mean for us to have a front porch understanding of who we are? Would it mean that we would say hi to our neighbors? That we would get to know our neighbors here in our new neighborhood? That we would get to know them by name? That we would say hello to them and how are you? And we would really get to know them. But not necessarily so that they would come to get to be a part of us. These days that feels a little suspicious for folks, like it smacks of, we really want you to come be a part of us so that we can get your money. Even for Methodists, it feels that way. And we have to be honest when we're having conversations with us and amongst ourselves. That's the conversation we have. We really need to get new people in here so that we can meet our budget. We really need to get new people in here so that we'll keep growing and we'll keep, and people know that. They can feel it, So we're really not that far off even than maybe TV evangelists who are trying to raise all that money. And that is just icky. So, but what a front porch understanding of who we are is that we're just doggone trying to get to know our neighbors. Get to know who they are. Get to know what it is that they like. What is it that they want out of life? And what is it that they need? What do they need in their lives? And then, how is it that we can serve those needs? We often call what we do in worship liturgy. All that stuff we do in worship, like call to worship, reading scripture, the doxology, the benediction, or the sending forth that we do away at the end of the worship service. All of this is called liturgy. Now, the fancy theological word for all this, okay, is liturgy. But the meaning of this word is really not all that fancy. If you go back to the Greek in its original meaning, it means the work of the people. Now that's not real fancy. It's just work. And if we look at it, all of this that we do on a Sunday morning, all of this, it shapes and informs the work that God gives us to do. So this Labor Day weekend, what work is it that God may be calling us to do? In our scripture passage today from the book of Romans, actually the letter of Romans that Paul is writing to the Romans, Paul reminds us that we have an obligation to love each other. Not that it's just nice that we love each other, or it feels good that we love each other, because quite frankly, it doesn't always feel good for us to love each other. That we have an obligation to love each other. He starts to list some of the 10 commandments. One, don't kill each other, don't do adultery, and then he stops, almost as if he's saying, okay, it's just way too much for me to list them all. It's really not worth for me to list them all. You know what they are. And then he says, and any other commandments, And then he says, they are all summed up in one. You must love your neighbor as yourself. Love doesn't do anything wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is what fulfills the law. All of it. On this Labor Day weekend, as we come to our own new church building, and we come to own our new church building. As we move into our new neighborhood, let's have a good front porch heart. Let us love our neighbors with the love that God gives us. I love all of you.